Hey everybody, to celebrate April 20th, we're making a bunch of food to cure your vegan munchie needs. All of these are pretty dang easy, and I gotta say that they all hit the spot in a major way. We'll be doing 3 savory dishes and 3 sweet ones, so all of our taste buds are covered. And today we're just gonna kinda have fun in the kitchen. These are less recipes and more just cool ideas that you can get creative with and put your own spin on. And first up is probably my favorite one, the Tortilla Pizza, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's a pizza on a tortilla, which, yes, I know, is an abomination, but it's a delicious abomination. But like any pizza, you can put whatever you want on it. I'm going to do a kind of homage to Totino's and Mama Celeste and make a sausage and peppers pizza. So I'll dice up some bell peppers, and I'll also crumble up and fry some of these Beyond sausages. And it's worth noting that if you prep this stuff beforehand, it'll make your munchie experience that much better and convenient. And one of my favorite feelings is when the munchies hit and then I remember that I have something prepped in the fridge and all I gotta do is throw it together and I'm in hog heaven. Not only that, but you'll have a bunch of leftovers that you can use in other dishes. So now that everything is prepped, all we gotta do is heat up our tortilla, and we're gonna get some softened vegan butter, we're gonna add some nutritional yeast and some garlic powder, and we're gonna spread that on the tortilla. I also tested out using oil instead of butter. Personally, I think I like the oil a bit better as the tortilla got crispier, but either one will work great. And then either way, in a pan over medium heat, let's grill it up for a few minutes. We're gonna add some butter to the other side, and then flip it once it's golden brown. And we'll just add some of our favorite red sauce. You can use jarred or homemade. I have a recipe that I'll leave in the description. And then after that, we'll do some vegan mozzarella, our crumbled sausage, and last but not least, the bell peppers. And then next, to melt the cheese, I tried covering it, but that didn't do too much. So we'll transfer it to a baking sheet and broil it for a couple of minutes until the cheese gets nice and melty. And another option is to cook it in a cast iron skillet. This way you don't have to transfer to a baking sheet to broil it. I'm also going to use these new vegan pepperonis that I found, which are probably the best I found in a big box store, though I still like the Beehives the best. But whether you eat this with sausage or pepperoni, I gotta say that at this moment, this is my favorite quick and easy meal. And bonus points since it folds up really well and you can dip it in ranch or whatever you like. And speaking of which, I've been really loving this peri peri sauce from Trader Joe's, and it's quite excellent on this. And I gotta say, as I'm sitting here watching this, I really want to go make one right now. They really are that amazing, so definitely try it out as soon as possible. Alright, next is the Cheeseburger Delight. This burger is based off a weird one-day special that Carl's Jr. ran a couple years back, but the burger is honestly probably my favorite thing I've made from Carl's after the Western Bacon Cheeseburger, of course. It's got their Santa Fe sauce on it, pickled jalapenos, and waffle fries. It's honestly pretty genius, and the Santa Fe sauce is so freaking good. If you've ever had it, you know what I mean. And to whip it up, let's get half a cup of vegan mayo, and then we'll add in half a teaspoon of curry powder. Yep, you heard that right. And then after that, a half teaspoon of smoked paprika, and then a few shakes of turmeric, and then a little vinegar, and that's basically it. Obviously, seasoned to taste, I added a bit more of everything, but it's such a uniquely delicious sauce, and it's good on just about any burger or sandwich. And now for the waffle fries, just get some frozen ones and bake or air fry them. I'm not making these from scratch when I got the munchies, and neither should you. And for our burger, we're just gonna toast up some of our buns like we do, and then we're gonna grill up 2 3-ounce burger patties, season that with garlic salt, flip them, add some vegan cheese, and now they use pepper jack on the original one from Carl's Jr., but I didn't have any, and also I feel like vegan pepper jack turns gray when you melt it, which is kind of not the best. So American vegan slices will do just fine. And then once that cheese is melted, we'll go ahead and build our burger. So we're gonna get our bottom bun, give it a good slathering of that Santa Fe sauce, add those waffle fries, our 2 cheeseburger patties, some pickled jalapenos, and then of course more of that sauce. We'll do some drippy drips from above, and then our top bun. And this is probably my favorite burger as of late. The combination of the sauce, the waffle fries, and the jalapenos is just freaking magic in your mouth. Speaking of which, time to make some beer cheese nachos. That's right, I've made a lot of cheese sauces on this channel, and I've even made a beer cheese, but I've never made a nacho beer cheese. And I did have some of the bell peppers left over from the pizza that I had intended on using, but, well, I forgot, because sometimes that happens when you have been imbibing the devil's lettuce. But for these, I'm going to use some of this soy rizo, which is fairly common and cheap around my area. I believe this whole thing only cost $1.50. And I'll go ahead and cook that up as I do, and this makes a whole bunch. So if you have leftovers, now you can use them in something else, like maybe some wake and bake breakfast tacos or whatever you like. But for now, let's get to the nacho beer cheese sauce. You can use any beer, but I would highly suggest using a Mexican beer. I'm going to use Dos Equis in an homage to one of my favorite vegan memes. So I'm going to pour in 1 cup of beer, and then optionally, but recommended, is 1 teaspoon of sodium citrate, which is an emulsifier and helps make our sauce nice and smooth. However, if you don't have any, you can also just use some more beer or plant milk if the cheese sauce is too thick. And then next, I'll throw in a 1/4 cup of pickled jalapeno brine. And now we just want to bring that up to a light boil, and then we'll add in 1 pound of vegan cheddar shreds. I'm using Violife. We'll stir that around and then add in some garlic powder as well as some onion powder, just a few shakes to taste, and then just keep whisking until you have a beautiful cheese sauce such as this. And now we just need to build up our nachos, and like I said, add whatever you like. I'm just going to do the chorizo, some rotel, which I've drained, and some green onions, the cheese, of course, and then more pickled jalapenos, which honestly, I wish I would have chopped them up and dispersed them evenly, but you know what? It didn't matter. These were still super dang delicious. The beer in that nacho cheese sauce really just adds a nice little kick of flavor, and it was a bit surprising how good it was, which I think is one of my favorite things about having the munchies. Not only am I more open to trying out new things, but if those new things turn out good, then it's that much more rewarding as you are making a delicious discovery. Speaking of trying out new things, time to make some chocolate-covered potato chips. Yes, for our sweet treats, I'm going to go back to something I tried when I was 10 years old and haven't tried since for some unknown reason. And I know technically these are salty and sweet, but that's my kind of favorite way to eat sweet treats, so you can sue me. Now, if you've never heard of these, it might sound a bit weird, but I swear they are totally perfect. All we need to do is get some potato chips. I'm trying out Ruffles and Pringles here, and yes, these flavors are both accidentally plant-based. And then we're going to get some semi-sweet vegan chocolate, and all we need to do is melt it in the microwave on low heat in 30-second intervals, stirring in between until we have a nice melted chocolate sauce. And then all we need to do is dip our potato chips about halfway and let the excess drip off. And then we're going to let them hang out on a parchment-lined baking sheet. And now you can totally just do these with chocolate, but I wanted to test out a few different topping ideas. So first we'll get some crushed up pretzels. We'll also do some classic sprinkles. And then I wanted to try out some crushed up Takis, as well as some of these crispy jalapeno pieces I got from Trader Joe's. I know it might sound odd, but I think the spicy, salty, and sweet is a great trio. So go ahead and top them with whatever you like. Make sure you do it right after you dip the chip, and then we'll just throw them in the fridge for about 10 minutes to get the chocolate to firm up. And now it's taste test time. And first is the plain chocolate covered, and yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's like a perfect balance of salty and sweet. I will say that I think I preferred the Ruffles to the Pringles on account of them being thicker. The chip to chocolate ratio on the Pringles was a bit too chocolate heavy for me. And next, let's try the pretzel, and yeah, this was also super good, but it didn't really add that much since we already have crunchy and salty from the potato chip, but it's still really good, obviously. And then the sprinkles are next, and I actually really liked the added sweetness and texture from the sprinkles. Plus, they look a lot cuter, which is important in a snack. Okay, and now the Takis topped one, and yeah, this one, it was not my favorite. I liked the spiciness, but the lime and citrus flavoring really kind of just clashed with everything else. I even tried just a chocolate-covered Taki for science, and yeah, that is not a good move if you can imagine that, so skip that one. That being said, the fried jalapeno one, that might have been my favorite. It added the perfect amount of heat to mosh it up with the salty and the sweet, and I really do dig that combination, so definitely try that out if you like a flavor menage a trois. Alright, this next one is a classic. We all know and love the peanut butter and banana sandwich, but unless you've been grilling it and adding chocolate chunks, you've been doing it wrong. And this is a great snack, but I've also been known to make it for a quick breakfast. All you need to do is get some white bread. Sourdough works fine, as does Texas toast, which is what I'm going to use today. Simply spread some peanut butter, top it with sliced bananas, and then nestle in some chocolate chunks or chips, and then get a pan over medium heat. Add a little vegan butter. I added way too much, but that's okay. And then you just got to grill it up until golden brown and the chocolate gets all melty. And yeah, I mean, Come on, this is absolutely hits the spot, and you get all the salty and sweet notes that your mouth can handle. On top of that, the bananas get pretty cooked through as well, and normally it's not this messy, but I was squeezing it to try to show it off. I mean, if you squeeze your sandwiches while you eat them, go right on ahead. I won't judge. Just be prepared to lick some chocolate off your hands. But yeah, this is an excellent breakfast, especially before a hike or a bike ride, or if you just want to hang out and play some video games, that works as well, I know from experience. All right, last but not least is some quick and easy vegan donuts. This was actually the first time I tried this hack out, and it worked pretty awesomely. I also tried out a few variations, so we'll get to that later, but the secret ingredient for these is some canned biscuit dough. Yep, this stuff is accidentally plant-based. Just make sure to check the ingredients, as there's a few flavors that have milk in them. But these are so dang easy. All you got to do is risk your life and crack open the biscuit can like so, and then we'll get out those biscuits and maybe just shape them out a bit, and then we'll cut out a hole in the center. I'm using a teeny tiny cookie cutter, but you could also use a bottle cap from a soda bottle or whatever. But seriously, you should get some cookie cutters if you can. They are super handy. And don't forget to save these little nubs for donut holes. And now we just got to get some oil like peanut, vegetable, or canola up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I did try to air fry these to see if that would work, but they just kind of came out like regular biscuits. For some reason, deep frying them really makes them taste a lot like donuts. And I know you all are wondering, but no, these don't taste exactly like the kind of donuts you would get at a donut shop or whatever, but they're pretty dang close, and considering how little time they take, you won't really care. Also, if you're freaked out about deep frying when you got the munchies, which is understandable, just simply fry these suckers up first, and then do what you got to do to get the munchies, and then come back to them. Whatever you decide, these only need about 1 minute per side to get nice and golden brown, and once they are fried to perfection, let them rest on a wire rack. And now it's time to top them. You can do a donut glaze, or an even easier option is to make some cinnamon sugar. For that, you'll need 1 cup of sugar and about 2 to 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. I do recommend having this mixture handy before you start frying, as the sugar will stick better if they still have a little residual oil on them. But there you go, a pretty perfect cinnamon sugar donut. For the glazes, I just kind of experimented. I tossed in some powdered sugar, a little plant milk, some of this strawberry extract, and then some red food dye, and then I dunked that sucker in there, sprinkled on some sprinkles. I'm also going to whip up a maple bacon donut. I have some coconut bacon here that I made the other day. I'll leave a recipe link for that in the description. But for our maple glaze, I'll just do some powdered sugar, a bit of maple syrup, and also some maple extract, which is optional but really amps up the maple flavor. And we're going to whisk that up, dunk our donut, and look at that. We're going to go ahead and sprinkle on some of that coconut bacon, and now we've got a maple bacon donut. This is one of my favorite things in the world. Now last, I got this banana extract and some of these peanut butter puffs. I figure let's make another peanut butter banana thing, and I've never seen a donut like this, so why not? And now this glaze came out pretty thin, and in fact I kind of biffed it on all the glazes except the maple one, but sometimes that happens. When you get the munchies, you can't let perfect be the enemy of your food. Anyways, let's dunk that donut like we do, and then try to sprinkle on some of those peanut butter puffs. Had a little bit of luck with that. But anyways, now it is time for a taste test. First up is the strawberry sprinkles, and yeah, I dug this one quite a bit, and like I said, these don't taste exactly like a regular donut, but they are so dang good and easy, you seriously will not care. Now the maple bacon, this one is definitely my favorite. I love maple bars, and I've always loved bacon, and this was just a match made in heaven. The coconut bacon is probably your best bet as far as a vegan bacon goes. It's super crunchy as well. And now let's try the banana peanut butter one, and this one was super interesting and a little weird, only because I've never had a banana donut, but I gotta say I dug it in an odd way. Not sure I'd make it again, but definitely worth trying out. And then last but not least, I'm going to dunk my cinnamon sugar donut in some coffee, which is really one of my favorite ways to enjoy a donut. And I really did love this biscuit donut hack, so I highly recommend it. And if you want to make any other munchie-friendly food, I've compiled a playlist of all my other videos that might be of interest, so go ahead and click right here for some more ideas. If you do make any, let me know how it goes, and until then, I'll see you all next time.